Abhora. Why, hello, and welcome to The Cup, part of the Currently Unnamed Podcast Network, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come here first to quench your thirst. I'm Brook, and I'm passionate about pop culture. I'm also the CEO and president of the JK fan club, the Sigourney Beaver fan club, and right now we're living our best lives. We're 2 for 2. Neither of them have went home yet, knock on wood. And, we're just doing our thing. Welcome to Dragula Titans coverage here at the Cup. And I am currently drinking a Kit Kat milkshake because it has been one of those days and I needed a Kit Kat milkshake today.
Treat yourself.
But I did stop drinking soda, and I haven't drank soda in like 2 months, so I will give myself credit where credit is due.
Hi and hello, it's Micha, your Persian correspondent and resident president of Jaharia fan club, and was it a good week for me? And actually, those 2 weeks have been pretty good for me, given that Evah Destruction is also on my draft list. But yeah, I'm drinking a very tepid ginger infusion, trying to get my voice back from singing relentlessly during the weekend. And yeah, I'm very happy with this episode.
Howdy, y'all. It's Mike, your buff bodybuilding correspondent down in Dallas, Texas. I put the him and himbo and the gay and video gamer and maybe the bay and basic. Up to you. This episode, I think this was kind of amazing. I will say, as far as my draft, Dollya, I drafted you. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? No, we'll get into it. This was, I thought I was watching Dragula, but this was the real house monsters of Dragula. Like, this was a drama-heavy episode, and I'm kind of not mad about it. The Boulets promised a bunch of drama, and the season's delivering so far.
Let's talk about that, because everywhere I look, people are saying this is one of the best episodes of Dragula we've ever. I could not disagree more.
Oh.
I'm quite irritated. I don't mind the drama, but I do feel like in this particular episode, the entire floor show, I hesitate to even call it a floor show, was sacrificed to instead focus on drama for over half of the episode. And that bothers me. I wanted to spend more time with this challenge, especially because we're on location at this super cool cyber festival. And it's Monsters of Rock, for God's sake. Like, this is one of the best recurring challenges on Dragula. And it's one of the highlights of my season. Like, this would be like if they said, okay, we're going to show you 10 minutes of Snatch Game. And then like 10 minutes of them like prepping and getting ready for Snatch Game and the actual Snatch Game. And then the rest of the episode is just them talking and arguing in the workroom. Like, obviously I want to see the drama if the drama is happening. And I know there was a lot of drama this week and they couldn't exactly cut all of it out or any of it out really. To me, it just seemed like the challenge kind of got shafted this week.
I would disagree strongly, literally, because I am probably one of those people who thinks it's one of the best ever episodes of Dragula, and I don't even think that drama took up that much because it was very much introduction to Neotropolis as a fest, and it was like all neon-like, I also love that the critiques were given to everybody, every contestant, safe or not, and we didn't sacrifice time for that. I actually think it was a jam-packed episode because they kind of tried to do Welcome to Wasteland, both parts from season 2, and the neon glamorama from season 5, or however it was called back then, with the neon painting, and the Monsters of Rock itself. Plus, it was the longest song for Monsters of Rock ever. I'm pretty ecstatic about this episode. I watched it already 4 times during this past 24 hours, and I'm gonna probably watch it again and again. So.
I think what I liked about this episode, I agree with you, Brooke, that this episode definitely, lost a lot of the challenge, but the monsters, they were dealing with some interpersonal issues. And I think that's really relevant to, the storyline. So I think they needed to touch on it. And it's unfortunate that this was the challenge that this occurred in. But I think what I liked about this episode was we really got to see the monsters interact. And we got to see really from everybody a sort of three-dimensional portrayal of like, this is what this person really is kind of like. It felt like much more raw footage of these contestants than we've really ever seen. I think a lot of times we see really edited, produced moments of these contestants. And this felt more organic. I think that's what I liked about the episode. I am upset that the performance aspect was secondary. I mean, I literally wrote like, what are we doing here? What is going on? Like, is this an episode of Dragula or not? That's why I put my tagline as it is. But it's such a unique episode because there was so much interpersonal stuff going on, and we'll talk about all of it because there was a lot. But I do agree. This is a fun challenge, and it's unfortunate that we lost it because of all the drama and the interpersonal issues and dynamics that developed in this episode.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump right into where we start. So as of last week, we get to see the bungee jump off of the bridge to nowhere. I am happy that they did acknowledge that Dollya almost smacked her face on the bridge on the way back up.
I was wondering, that was very
We talked
high.
about that in the episode last week, and I was like, I really thought she was going to hit her damn head. But no, she was this close apparently, but she did not hit her head. But we get a Boulet opening here. It's very camp. I was here for that. That was my favorite. My favorite part of the episode, I hate saying, was the Boulet opening of like, oh, we didn't tape this one pre-taped. We know we did this one after the fact.
Yeah.
But so
I need to rewatch it now to see exactly what they say. Now that I know what the episode is, because I only watched it once today. But I'm like you, Micha. I want to go back and rewatch it.
I mean,
yeah, I also want to rewatch this episode because my absolute favorite moment, I know I mentioned my favorite part of the episode, but my favorite singular moment in this episode is when they're on the bus ride up to this like mountain area that they don't know where they're going. Loris has headphones on and is listening to self-affirmation tapes that say, Loris, like very clearly like an AI voice, like dubbing in the username. He goes, you got this. You are a bad bitch. And I'm like, we need to get that "you are a bad bitch" clip. We need that as a button because I literally had to pause the episode. I laughed so fucking hard. Yeah, so we go back to we don't go back to the lab. We go to the mountains. Sigourney gets bus sick, but we do make it to the mountains.
I was like, what kind of medical staff do they not have Dramamine on hand? I feel like that's a pretty basic pill to have. Like, here's a tab.
Maybe they weren't expecting that, but because they were like driving to a Mojave Desert, if I'm understanding this correctly. So I don't think that they were expecting her to react that way to mountain ride, but yeah, they should have had it at least.
But yeah, so we get to the mountains, this like barren area with like a little bit of a bazaar going on, but nothing crazy. And the monsters start talking about who's gonna come back, who's gonna be eliminated. We don't want Dollya back, and that's pretty much the general consensus is that Dollya can go. And there is a little bit of like, well, Frankie's drag hasn't really evolved since season 1. And like, sure. And we do get the moment of Blackberri explaining why she put Cynthia in the bottom as Cynthia begins walking up to the group. I want to be clear. There is a lot of drama in this episode. So we will be doing our absolute best to try to summarize this drama as best as possible, so as not to hyper focus on it.
Can we acknowledge this could be its own runway? I mean, their desert looks, which were only shown in this scene around these buses before they went to the festival. It was so good, but you had to like basically blink and you miss it. Who was dressed in what?
And it was just like they were just there, and all of a sudden they're in desert rave gear. They were all Mad Max coded, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, we're just doing this. We're not introducing it. We're not doing like a little walk-in shot." The episode was like, "We have no time. We just got to get to the juicy bits here."
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to piece by piece as much of this drama as possible. So first off, our surviving monsters come back to the group, and Frankie Doom has been exterminated off screen. Boo! Boo!
Yeah, I'm happy by the end of the episode that we get the twist that we do, because if this was how they were sending out Frankie Doom, I was going to be so upset.
I kind of, until that very last screen at the end of the episode, I really thought maybe Frankie got pissed when they found out they were getting cut and decided, I'm not filming anything after this. Because really, had that been the case and Frankie went home apropos of nothing, they didn't do a thing with the gallows. We don't get to see the death scene even. Like, I would have been real pissed. And I was pissed for most of the viewing for Frankie. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, we have never had an off-screen death on Dragula. In terms of, like, without the death scene, and maybe the death itself is off-screen, but the actual death scene doesn't happen.
We didn't see Yuri die specifically. We saw the plane go off.
Yes, so stupid for that. The explosion.
I'm not getting murdered.
You better believe we have that voice clip ready to go.
Me and Jonathan always quote to each other like, "Are you gonna kill me? What? No. We just want to thank you for how much you brought to the season." Like, it's so
I will
funny.
say that might be the single best death scene they've ever done, and maybe they're afraid to try to top it, because I don't know how they can top that.
That was the best. That was the best.
That scene itself has its own dedicated following. It's kind of like the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Jake makes the perps sing, like that one clip has its own following outside of Dragula now. So I really do wonder how they're going to top it with season 7, but we'll see when we get to it. But yeah, so Frankie gets exterminated, we assume, because Frankie is in the morgue later. So R.I.P. Frankie for now. But we do get the comments of, Frankie's drag hasn't really evolved or changed. And, it's Titans. You need to step it up. But, again, in my personal opinion, this is just me, Frankie was not in the bottom 3 of that challenge.
Yeah.
But neither was Cynthia. But
if it wasn't for that dumb twist, vote someone out of your team twist, Frankie would not have been in the bottom. By the judges' critiques.
Only one person out of the bottom 4 was in my personal bottom 3 for that challenge. And they were not in my bottom 2 for that challenge, if that tells you anything. So, not naming names, Dollya Black. But it is what it is for Frankie. But, of course, the drama is going to ensue, because everybody that was in the bottom got put in the bottom by somebody else. So we start with the Cynthia, Blackberri, Jaharia drama. And instead of talking this sequentially as to when these events happen, we're just going to chunk them together. So Cynthia starts by saying that Blackberri and Jaharia lost a friend, that they betrayed her, that Jaharia broke a pinky promise.
I was going to say, I wrote in all caps, the pinky promise.
That was one of the best
you.
voiceovers by everybody. Yeah, I mean, everybody who
you're my
chimed
girl.
in was great.
You're my girl, Jaharia, but those are sacred and you know it.
I mean, the sheer genius of production to include the scene where Priscilla is doing the pinky promise with somebody off screen. That was like phenomenal.
Can we talk about having the different little clips of the different monsters being like, pinky promises are everything. Pinky promises mean nothing. Pinky promises are sacred. Like it was like 4 little back-to-back. It was like Sigourney, Zavaleta, Priscilla, and I think there was a 4th person. I can't remember who it was.
Abhora was also.
Abhora.
Yeah.
It was so funny. And this was the part I was really enjoying this episode because I thought this would be a quick, brief thing, and then it just kept going. But basically, Cynthia declares that Blackberri is her primary target, that's who she's coming after. And we'll come back to the individual groups that split off in a minute. But one of the groups that splits off has both Cynthia and JK in it. And JK's like, I put her in the bottom. And yet, she's not mad at me.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it.
See, I think for Cynthia, it's like, I knew JK was going to vote for me. Whatever, like, I kind of respect you for, like, doing that. But, like, with Jaharia broke a pinky promise. And I'm going to be mad specifically at Blackberri, even though Jaharia broke a pinky promise. Cynthia was all over the place in this episode, and I loved it. It was so iconic.
Yeah, good for Jaharia for having her entire face covered during this Mad Max semi-runway because we couldn't see her expression. We only could hear her from down this like, giant blanket.
I think you bring up a good point, Micha. I'm a little upset they all had masks on because I wanted to see everyone's like reaction to like this drama unfolding.
You could have seen it on Abhora's specs because her face was covered, but her chest was not.
Yeah. I think so. Part of me feels like Cynthia is really playing this up. But I will say, I watched before it went down Sigourney's recap of episode 1, and she said that was real tears from Cynthia. Like she was actually really upset in episode 1. So I think she is genuinely hurt by these two girls here.
Well, I mean, her and Blackberri were pretty close on season 5, and we do know. I mean, Jaharia and Cynthia are from the same city. They've known each other for a long time. And I understand where everybody's coming from in this situation of Jaharia and Blackberri were in the top. JK did our entire choreography. It kind of has to be Cynthia. And I get where Blackberry's coming from. But also, Cynthia has every right to feel some type of way about it. And this is the drama I was living for in this episode because this was like fun drama. I didn't actively want to gouge my eyes out at this drama. This was good drama. I respect this drama.
I agree. I think it's tough when I think that entire group was in the top half of last week. I think they all were in the top half of performers.
Well, something interesting we've seen this week and last week was it's not really been teams competing against each other. It's been kind of competing against your team a little bit in these first 2 floor shows. So we're going to have to see if that's how we're doing team challenges for the time being on Titans or if it's just these first 2 weeks. My personal favorite part of this entire scene, though, is Cynthia saying that JK is now her friend.
And hugging.
Yes.
And they hug. And I will say, JK, in this episode, there's so much drama going around, and JK's just like, I'm not going to get involved. This one time.
How am I not in the middle of any of this? He's like, what is this feeling of not being in the middle of the drama?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna say this. This feels like the start of a JK dominance at it, and I can't wait.
I kind of am liking JK's chances. I'm kind of kicking myself for not drafting him when I had the chance now. Because he's slaying. He's slaying. He's doing so well.
But it can go one of two ways. Either, like Brook said, it's like JK dominance, or is it JK's dominance as a confessional king? And this can be two slightly different edits, but I'm not mad at it.
We win either way. Way.
All I'm saying is, if you're the narrator, that means you make it at least halfway through the season. And if that's as long as I'm getting JK at minimum, I will take it.
Yeah.
So we're going to put a little pin in that drama and then jump to some other drama, because we then again revisit the Jade, Priscilla, Dollya. Where are they drinking? Where's there drugs involved? And again, to be very clear, when it comes to what actually occurred, none of it has been shown on screen. We do not know.
But yeah, again and again, Dollya brings up that, of course, Jade can't perform without alcohol, and we get this genius shot of Jade coming inside the tent with a bar and liquors all over it. So yeah, maybe.
I mean, I will say, and this is all alleged information. I did I've watched so much supplemental videos. I watched a watch party of episode 1. It had Jade, Jolie, JK, and Zavaleta. That's another thing. Like, it seems like JK and Zavaleta, whatever they had, got squashed, and they're fine today. They seem perfectly fine together. And Jade did kind of admit, she's like, we were drinking a lot. Like, she did kind of mention, this is alleged, this is just from her. It might have been just a joke to rile up the crowd and everything, but she was just like, it was a lot of drinking. She just wasn't any fun, which sounds like a joke, but who knows? We really don't know the truth of the matter. But I think it is really weird. I always say this on other Drag Race. I'm not sure why Dollya is so fixated on other people's vices or what they're doing. This is a competition where you just focus on yourself. And I think she's really burning her position with her fellow contestants to kind of call out all this behavior. And I'm really disappointed, because I feel like when you focus on yourself and you just try to have fun and show your own art, I think that's when you show the best sides of you. I think Dollya is getting a little lost in the sort of drama. I don't know the full story. We're seeing an edited product that is a small amount, so there might be many other sides to the story that we don't know. But what I'm seeing here, my impression from what I'm seeing here, is that Dollya is just getting caught up in a lot of drama she just doesn't need to be.
Exactly, and contrary to season 3, where she was inside all of the drama, but she was like riding high and slaying challenges, here so far she's been underperforming both of them. So we'll see how it turns out for her.
Another interesting part of this was Jade later mentioning that it's kind of weird that when she's getting called out, she's mentioning that she's bipolar. And I will again say, one thing that this podcast is not going to do ever is make light of somebody's mental health struggles or mental health in general. Okay. So when it comes to Dollya's or Jade's, even both of their bipolar diagnoses, that is none of our business to comment on whatsoever. What I will say, though, is in this moment of Jade saying, look, I used to do this and then I got therapy, and that's why I don't do that anymore. I don't use it as an excuse for me to treat other people poorly. I'm still very much on the fence with this whole Dollya stuff in general of we don't know what's really going on behind the scenes, so we can only talk about what's being shown in the episode. And it's kind of hard for me personally to make a full decision about something this serious that could potentially be really serious without having fuller context, you know what I mean? But I will say, though, I don't feel like the show would be editing it this way if Dollya was not at overblowing it a tiny bit. That's kind of where I'm at the moment.
It's hard to say, because this is such a personal and private thing that Dollya is talking about. And I do appreciate her bringing that up, because I think awareness is important. But I also think, sure, it may explain your actions, but when your actions actually hurt somebody and they actually, cause harm to other people, sure, maybe there's some like explanation for it. And, culpability maybe isn't as fierce as it would be if she didn't have this disorder or was struggling with this. She still hurt people and she still is acting in a way that is hurting other people. And I think regardless of your situation, you still need to kind of own up to your actions and be like, I'm really, really sorry. Like, I'm not trying to hide behind this. This is why I did this. But like, I'm sorry. I don't want to be that person. I want to be in control of it. And I'm not going to talk about Dollya's place in her struggle because that's her own story. That's her own journey. But, yeah, I think it's tough to make a decision. It's tough for us to kind of talk about it, but I also think you need to kind of, apologize for, your actions, regardless of what brought them about.
So far, she's been a gift to the editors, though, because by the end of episode 2, like it's literally Dollya against the world, because everybody seems to hate on her. But let us acknowledge this genius quip by Jade, who said, "Girl, bringing up bipolar in the workroom is so 2023."
She is so shady. Jade is so shady, and I'm living for it.
So then finally, to wrap up our three-headed dragon of drama to start this episode, let's talk about the Evah and Sigourney of it all.
Yeah, that was easy. Yeah.
This was very brief, and quite frankly, I am very happy this was very brief because with everything else going on, I didn't need it to be very much. But we do get Sigourney and Evah basically restating everything they said in the first episode of Evah being like, they told us to come out with claws. I put her in the bottom. If they want to save her, that's fine. I do hate how Evah said that she used her get out of jail free card because I don't really feel like that's what happened based on the edit we got. But Sigourney was just like, look, I'm focusing on me. If she wants to do that, that's fine. And that's just kind of where we get left at this point. And it doesn't really get brought up the rest of the episode. Thank God.
Once. It gets brought up only once when they already know who is in which band. And Sigourney and Evah kind of respective leaders of their own bands. And that's why, they both bring it up in the confessional saying they want to beat their asses, but it's nothing. It's like very playful.
Compared
I don't mind
every
actually.
Other bit of drama at this point in this episode, and by the end of the episode, it's a blip.
Yeah,
I
and I think
don't mind the wording. Yeah, go ahead.
It feels like they're just putting a pin in it for now because I feel like Sig and Evah are going to be here for a fair amount. So we'll see it farther down the line. And I don't see it really from either of them detracting from their performance. They both seem pretty locked into the performance and have been performing, in my opinion, near the top for both of them. In both episodes. So we'll just see how this turns out. This may be a bigger storyline once some other monsters get exterminated. I think this is kind of an editor being like, we're putting a pin in this. Just keep this in mind.
Because, we also get another great confessional from JK exactly about this situation, stating this: let them beat each other, let them fight, and I will quietly sneak beneath them to the wind, something like this.
Well, it's now time to finally talk about the floor show. So we're in Neotropolis, okay? It's this like cyber, I don't want to really call it a festival. I'll say gathering, a cyber gathering in the mountains. Bunch of like shops and stores, but all the visitors are in some way dressed in some sort of futuristic attire for the most part. There's a couple people who were just there to visit, and you can tell. But
it's kind of Mad Max meets cyber goth aesthetic. It's very interesting.
It's very cool, and I would love to visit. This is the kind of place that I would want to go to.
I turned to Jonathan and go ahead.
No, I was just saying because this is like I'm not much for going to like festivals and like things of that nature because one, social anxiety is a real bitch, and two, a lot of the time they just don't interest me. But the aesthetic of this was like, I want to go there. I want to see this.
Now, domesticated now. I'm a domesticated circuit bunny now. So so this is like, I love events like this. And I turned to Jonathan and I was like, we got to go to Burning Man. This feels so Burning Man. And he's like, is it like this? I'm like, yeah, but bigger. And he's like, okay, I'll go. I've been trying to get him to go forever. And it took Dragula to get him to finally be like, okay, we'll go to Burning Man one year. So I'm so excited to live my Mad Max fantasy out in the desert.
As far as I understood, it's the same guys who do Wasteland, and so they're already like familiar with Boulets, because we did have like Wasteland on season 2 of regular Dragula, and now we have its like child of it basically on the subchild of the franchise, but bigger and more colorful. So yeah, it's cool. I also loved how Israel actually blended into the entire team. Can we talk about his revelation? It's so cool how he dragged everybody. And Disasterina's great confessional. We go way back with Israel. He was so nice to be back then. And it's very fun.
I thought Israel looked so good in his like Dune Fremen outfit that he had on. He was just summoning the monsters around the festival. That was a really cool shot. There was a lot of fun new stuff in this episode.
It's so like art housey in the best possible way, and I love it about this episode.
So everybody gets pulled into this little tent. This little flat screen TV comes on with a logo being covered at the bottom with black tape. Don't think I didn't catch that. And we find out it's Monsters of Rock in week 2. Oh dear God. Also with an odd number of people that will not cleanly divide into any even amount of groups, because 13 is a prime number. I really feel like this is the week that this is happening, and therefore if we want to do it here, we have to do it this round.
I think that's what it was a scheduling issue of when they finally were up for the filming this. This is when the festival was happening, and they're like, we really, really need to do it at this venue. So I think they just made it work for what they had.
Yeah, so they get split into groups, and they tease it's going to be with their worst enemies, but I don't really think anybody got put with somebody they didn't like. I was like, why would we tease this if this is not what's going to happen? Because it's really not what happened. So it's a Cyber Monsters of Rock challenge. And it was a very interesting 5 minutes in the lab. Because that's really all we got.
We got nothing from them making their outfits.
I mean, given that it's a desert, that was specific. But yeah, again, reminiscing of the Wasteland 2-part episode in season 2, there was just like so much time with only 4 people, and here we got like very cramped up with 13. But it was interesting how they divided it, and so who was on which team, and how they got their names. And only from Boulet's critique later on, we get that the people within each team were free to sign the roles for whoever instrument or lead singer or whatever Abhora came to be wanted to be.
We'll talk about that when we get to the back into the main stage, because we got some questions on that one. So I'm just gonna quickly say. The only bit of actual important thing that happens in the lab is another round of Cynthia versus Blackberri. It was basically third verse, same as the first 2. Like, there wasn't much different this time. Cynthia, I will say, isn't it crazy how we're all here on Titans and all are so talented and so successful, except for Blackberri?
I can't. Cynthia is just stating, she's iconic line after iconic line. She killed the entertainment factor of this episode. Otherwise, I don't think they would have anything to put in this episode. Especially, I mean, we'll get there when the siren goes off. And she just leaves and goes to a porta potty.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean? Wait, where's the right button? I cannot find the button. Where did it go? I just had it 2 seconds ago. It was ready to go.
Attention competitors. Attention competitors.
Mother Fantasia.
The floor show is about to begin.
Great.
Thank you so much. So I will say, I was going to mention it. I don't know what it is with Cynthia, but I guess on episode 2 of every season of Dragula she's on, she must go do her makeup in a porta potty.
Yes, that was a great reference.
But so we go into the performance. They are performing to New World Order by Ministry. All the groups are.
Great choice.
And we'll get into the individual roles and assignments in just a second, but I will say on the whole, very solid performances in Monsters of Rock this time around. There was not a dead weight group. There was not a group that was like awful. For the most part, everyone did a really good job in the performance aspect of this challenge. Keyword, the performance aspect of this challenge.
But it's like the most important part of Monsters of Rock anyway. I mean, yeah.
I agree.
And I'm not mad at it. And yeah, actually, that's why they decided to judge them individually as opposed to teams, I think. Because, yeah, there was some high highs and low lows in each team. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Have we always had both groups put together into one little montage? Or
Yes.
have we always had that? I felt like we've had like a group at a time.
No, almost never. 4 or 5, we definitely had both groups. Only season 6 was different, but it wasn't Monsters of Rock. It was this Alaska Rusical, some kind of thing.
Sure,
But yes, previous seasons it was always the mashup.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will say,
special. Yes.
this one went a bit long for my taste in terms of how long the song was. It was 4.5 minutes song.
Yeah.
And I don't mind them using like a longer song or having a longer performance, but considering how much time we put in on everything else in this episode, I would have loved to let them like walk the floor show before we go into critiques and maybe parse some of this drama out of the episode. Hell, don't even show the lab segment whatsoever. We don't need to see it. If you're only going to show it for 5 minutes, cut that and let them walk the floor show on the regular stage in their outfits. Because that would have been something I would have really enjoyed, getting to have like a better look at these looks. Because spoiler alert, when we're about to discuss these looks in just a second and discuss what they brought on the show and during the performances, we only really have good looks via the big long path of the people on the stage. Because also, Dragula, why are you waiting until 2 days after the episode comes out to post your promo looks? Can we not just get the promo images the night the episode comes out? You don't even have to provide context. You can just say like, hey, this is what Jaharia wore on this episode of Dragula Titans. Like, please? Because you're making all the podcasters' job harder.
Agreed.
That's
in turn, the Boulet Brothers. Come on.
I actually didn't mind the full-length song because, first of all, we have 13 people as opposed to usual 8 for Monsters of Rock, and we clearly needed them all to be seen for the viewer. And yeah, I know it's kind of specific that we didn't get a separate floor show, but it was also very interesting and challenging for the contestants themselves to what elements they chose to have on stage while performing, as opposed to what they wore during the critiques. And for some, Dollya, it was pretty crucial, the difference.
So let's first talk about the Boulets here. Because when they walked out in the festival, because they were done up, I was like, oh, they had a full Daft Punk mask going on. And I'm like, oh my God, the Boulets doing Daft Punk. I am so living for this. And then they posted the promo picture and they're not in the Daft Punk mask anymore. And I'm like, that was so cool. Why did you get rid of it? It was so great.
Like, okay, give me the same. Now they're giving us the same thing they give us every week with the makeup and okay.
It looks great. The outfit is good, but the masks were really cool.
Yeah,
and I wanted
the
to
mix
see
was
them in this
phenomenal.
promo image.
I mean, when you do something different, it is so iconic. I mean, we say RuPaul's most iconic judging outfit was the one with the mask and
The face kini. The
face
face
kini.
kini. Yeah.
And
Or like RuPaul with the Daft Punk silver like welder's mask thing that she did that one time too. Like whenever you change up the overall, like the general, like it's changing your silhouette in a way that the silhouette doesn't normally get changed.
Exactly.
mhm.
That's why the skeleton masks from season 6 are still talked to death today, because
I was
they
gonna
were so
say,
iconic.
the skeleton look is so good.
It's so good that even poor Loris had redone it last week to her demise. No, just kidding. But it was very funny. Just one quick line about these masks. How before they started the deliberations, where there were only 2 of them, they took it off saying, "Wow, the wigs are completely unharmed. They stayed in the same position." It was so.
They are so fun. Their banter between each other is hilarious.
Yeah, it's getting better with this season, actually. Yeah.
Well, because they're a little bit more comfortable, right? Like when we don't really talk about it, but they've had 8 seasons now of being on camera as the judges, as the hosts. Like the banter got better with Rue too as we went on. You know what I mean? And now it's a little cheesy and like cut and paste, but here it's still a little. It feels unscripted a lot of the time still.
Yeah, but the Boulets feels like the golden era. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Speaking of our judging panel, we have Ryan Turek of Blumhouse, and we have Kate Siegel, or is it Siegel? Siegel. I think it's Siegel. Siegel, thank you. Actress from a bunch of different horror properties. She's in Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. She was in Hush. She's been in a bunch of stuff, so you've probably seen her face, even if you don't know her name. But those are our guest judges, and I will say, allegedly, they watched the challenge via satellite. I don't buy that for a damn second. I think they watched recorded clips in the studio, and they put those things in post. And you know what? That's fine. Just say that.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering the timing of because we know it was like a, let's say 3, maybe 4 hour drive to site, and then they have to get back, probably not in full outfits. They then have to get back into full outfits, and then might not even be the same day that they are recording this floor show segment. So we don't know what the judges saw. I thought that was really interesting. I'm like, oh, I was thinking like, how are we going to get back to the studio? I'm guessing this was a different day that they drove back in, and then maybe the next day or however, whenever the judges came in, they filmed this floor show segment.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same as to in Drag Race, when the guest judge who is not on Snatch Game, like as a panelist, as a player, is watching it like later on in unedited basically version, and then joins in and chimes in into the panel. Yeah.
I think what makes it tougher is that they were at Neotropolis, which has to be a few hours away from the studio. So,
I mean, again, I'm not asking these people to just show up. I know that's not entirely feasible from a production standpoint. But if they're gonna be watching a recorded version of the challenge, just say they're watching a recorded version of the challenge. Nobody will be mad.
Exactly. Or even better, if they were on location dressed as some other sci-fi aliens in Daft Punk masks and driving to it. And
I mean, that'd be iconic. I highly doubt they were there, though. I don't even know where we did see the Boulets there. Never mind. They were on site.
Yeah. So the Boulets were there. And I will say, they mentioned in an interview that they did, I don't remember who it was with, but I was watching an interview they did like right after the premiere came out. And they're like, people don't know this, but we're obsessive and control freaks. So we want things to look and get done a certain way. So when the contestants are having to hike 5 miles up to the bridge to nowhere, guess what? We're hiking 5 miles up to the bridge to nowhere. And they were talking about like, we did this because we want to make sure everything looks good. I don't think there is a single set on this show that happens and they're not there. based on how they were talking.
I mean, they're first and foremost they're short filmmakers, so they want to make sure everything that's shot is their vision. I appreciate that. I appreciate their hustle to get the shot.
Yeah, and especially given that they said to Evah Oddly on her podcast with some other guy, I forgot their name, that they love Wasteland so much, and this festival is like a brainchild of Wasteland, so they're in touch with the whole like organizing team. So obviously we're very involved on site. Yeah.
I have an ambulance going by outside. My apologies. So I was trying to mute until we went. Okay, but fine. So let's go ahead and start talking about what we have to discuss visually on this episode. So first up, we have Skin Tag, which is going to be Priscilla, JK. I can't tell due to the face mask.
Cynthia. It was Cynthia.
Cynthia. Thank you very much. And then Zavaleta. As the group Skin Tag, according to them, it's because they're not going anywhere, which I find very fun. I want to just say right now, the headpiece that Priscilla Chambers has on is one of the absolute best things I have ever seen a performer on Dragula wear in my entire life. Oh, it's dear great. God, it's impressive as fuck. And I guarantee you, it single-handedly saved that girl from going into the bottom 3 this week and making it a 3-way.
She wasn't in the bottom 3. She wasn't in the bottom.
No, like
2.
going into the bottom 2, like going up to the gallows, because I think this is just one of the best outfits of the night for me from Priscilla, even if her performance was a little bit so-so.
So honestly, I mean, the standout for sure was JK in this group. It was insane, the energy that he was bringing. My favorite part was he brought out the spray paint just like Mad Max Fury Road and like sprayed it on everybody. And I love that reference. I love that movie. I love that movie series. I love everything Mad Max coded. So JK won my heart here. Cynthia did amazing too. I think overall it was a good group. It was a lot of fun. I do agree with the judges' critiques that it did feel like Zava and Priscilla were a bit more. They didn't shine as bright as the other two in this group. Unfortunately, that's always the challenge in these group challenges is somebody just shines more than you. But I don't think anybody did really bad in their team, in my opinion.
Yeah, importantly too, JK was the lead singer, and historically the lead singer is either the best person, they carry the group, they keep the energy up, or they flop. JK absolutely carried this group, kept the energy up, made sure the crowd was invested. We got to see it a little bit on season 5 too. JK is a very talented performer. So watching JK jump off the stage and go into the crowd was very entertaining for me. I was very much living that fantasy, especially because I think JK's look is probably the single most lead singer look I have ever seen someone wear on Dragula period for the Monsters of Rock challenge. Like, I cannot imagine JK being in any other role in the group other than being the lead in this outfit. I can't. I really enjoyed this. It was really nice getting to see Jay shine as well. Do I personally think Priscilla was the weakest in this group? No. Do I think that I understand why they put Priscilla in the bottom? Because it was kind of a coin flip? Yes.
I mean, that was kind of unfortunate that despite the fact that they judged like individually, they decided still to have one top from each group and one bottom from each group, because I don't think that either Priscilla or Zava, for that matter, should have necessarily been in the bottom 3. I think
I have a different bottom 3.
I'll put my judges' panties on and say that nobody said on the judges' panel, but I think that everybody who did change their roles in the bands as opposed to their original seasons succeeded mostly, and those who didn't, they kind of fell flatter because it's kind of, you put the target on your back. Did Zava do better as a guitarist than they did on season 4? And the answer is kind of no. So yeah, I mean, good for Zava that they were spared from the bottom 3 anyways. But yeah, I totally agree about JK being mega standout star, because JK switched roles, and that was a great result. And as we got second-handedly from Boulet's critique, they were free to choose their roles within a group. So I also adore Cynthia, both on drums and her look on the runway. Here you can see that, it's a bit unfortunate we didn't get a separate floor show, because this instrument, as she called it, what did she call it, Keita?
It's a guitar.
Guitar, the fake guitar, she said, which is spewing blood, according to her. Yeah, was nowhere near to be seen during the performance, which is a bit unfortunate. But her mask, and literally, the thing is that she had a mask on and still sold the living hell out of beating rage to the drums, says a lot about her. So yeah, the season 5 girls from this band shine through all the way through. So both JK and Cynthia did amazing.
I was going to say, shout out to Cynthia's outfit. I really, really enjoyed it. I love that prop, the guitar prop that she had. That thing is great. It looked great. I wish we saw more of it. I understand why we didn't.
Yeah, it looked very H.I. Giger of her.
I wish they would have let her use that as her guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And we did, because I feel like it would have worked. And also, the main critique they had for Priscilla was that she had this big ball, this little spiky chain ball, and she didn't use it. And she's like, well, what did you want me to do with it? Like, I think it's a very accurate statement of, you see how big this damn thing is? With the stage we had and the setting we were in, what did you want from me?
Also, I'm pretty sure that they, unless it was Jaharia's prop, and we'll get to her, they had to be very careful with the instruments that they use. Because if you look, the people who are on drums did not really actually strike the drums. If they did, they were very light with it. And I think they were instructed with the actual instruments themselves. Like if it's something that's being lent to us, don't go crazy with it. So she's like, what do you want me to do when I have this big ball and chain and I have this instrument that I can't,
but also
enter, because they have to share it with every other group. So
speaking from my band experience, I would actually say that the drummers hurting the instrument is usually the least concern, because if anything you can cut break the drumsticks, but it's nothing. And I mean, for many a drummer to do this, so it's basically the least hurtable instrument of all.
But I'm thinking of like a risk side point of the show. They're like, we don't want to pay to repair any of these instruments. They're probably like renting them for the performance.
Quick question: should we tee or bag the looks? Sorry, would we?
We definitely will. I just haven't got to that point yet. One thing that I really wanted to see someone do one year is be the guitarist, but go full camp and bring out a Guitar Hero guitar. I need it. I need someone to do it. Like, I need somebody to come out one year and go full like Johnny Napalm cosplay with a Guitar Hero guitar.
I was going to say, or like the goth chick that everybody plays as.
Literally Johnny's just the poster boy, but like literally any of them. Okay, you pick any of the Guitar Hero people and you show up with a Guitar Hero guitar. Sure, maybe the Boulets won't get it, but I'll get it, and that's what matters to me.
Judy Nails, that's her name.
Judy Nails, icon queen mother. Yes, Judy Nails. I also would love to see someone do a Lars outfit, because we did get relatively close to a Lars outfit once. I think it was Anaphylactic's Monsters of Rock outfit was really close to that. So starting from Priscilla and then moving to Zavaleta, we will get to Abhora in a bit. Tea or bag? Priscilla, starting with Micha.
Priscilla, total tea for me.
Yeah. I had to sew that, and we'll get to that in a second. This is tea. It's custom. It's tea. It's
with or without Sigourney's help, it's tea.
Yeah. We'll get to
that. Total tea, specifically the headpiece, though, is like an entire kettle worth of tea. All right. Then JK, Micha.
T for the performance, but it's kind of milder T. But I get where she's coming from, and I'm not mad at this at all. Especially loving the fake land on side the breast situation.
I do love the muscle suit torso underneath. I loved. I will say for performance challenges, my caliber for like looks does have to go down because they have to be able to work around in them. This is T for me. I think that JK really filled the outfit and performed the hell out of it. It was perfect for his role.
Well, also we're forgetting the big like headpiece fan thing that JK walked out with first, and did have on the floor show. They just put it down when they got down there. So that included, and also this is just a really solid rock star outfit. This is total T. Cynthia, Micha.
Cynthia, yeah. Cynthia probably doesn't know who HR Giga is, and probably she would say, is it a circle or is it a square? But I mean, she really gives this artist's fantasy, and for that, it's like it's an overflowingly hot tea, especially with the prop when she was on the runway. It was good in the challenge, but on the runway, it was just great. Super tea.
Priscilla's, and a lot of other looks, we'll get to them when we do. I wish we had a floor show to see more of these outfits because I loved a lot of what Cynthia had here. This is a T for me.
Yeah, total T. I think this is just a really solid look from top to bottom. Specifically, the prop just works really well. And again, I will agree. I wish we would have had a full floor show to see more of these looks a little bit fully. Finally, Zavaleta.
It's a slight, I'm slightly on the fence with it because it's an improvement from her look specifically from season 4, but love the bounce. But compared to her bandmates, it's kind of meh in the performance itself, and it didn't like heavily improved on the runway. So I would give it like a very tepid T, but literally warmish.
This is one of those that I wish we had a floor show so I could see more of it. Because part of me, I kind of want to get more of the sense of what's going on with the headpiece. I love the body though. This is a T for me.
Yeah, I kind of agree specifically with Mike here because I really do think that I would again love to have seen more of this to be able to get a fuller picture of it. Especially with the guitarist, because part of their outfit is naturally going to be obscured. I mean, and the drummers too. There's stuff in front of them that we can't really see, which is why the lead singers, I think, having a bit of an advantage in this challenge historically. I mean, I think until this episode, only a lead singer. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Only a lead singer has won. So yeah, I do really like what I was able to see of Zavaleta on this floor show. So we'll say T. But again, I want to see the promo pictures, Boulets. Give me the promo pictures.
And also for the unaired runway in the desert. I mean, the Mad Max looks as well. That would be phenomenal if we had both of them on Instagram.
I did write. I loved Zava's mask the most of everybody's because it was giving me Fury Road the most. It was giving me that guy who has the oxygen. He has to take it off to talk in the movie. Mm-hmm. I did write that down. Everybody else, I mean, the masks were great, but they didn't show it, so I can't really go individually for each of them.
Yes. All right, next up, group number 2. I forget their group name. I only remember Skin Tag because Cynthia shouts at it.
Did I write it down?
Blackberri.
I did. This is the one I didn't write down.
I'm trying to remember. Okay.
This should tell you a lot. So we have... I'm mostly kidding. Mostly. So we have Abhora, Sigourney, Blackberri, Disasterina on the end, and what was that? And Jade. Yes. So it's Disasterina and Jade. So note, this is a 5-person group, while both of the other 2 groups were 4-person groups. I don't like this decision, because I feel like this should have been one of the times where if they were going to have a leftover, it should have been you have people pick groups and then whoever's left over joins the group of their choice. Now it just kind of feels like an artificial way to make sure that whoever doesn't have an instrument, which in this case was Abhora, isn't in the bottom.
Okay.
But she wasn't.
I was going to say this. I was like, just say you're safe until halfway, a la Netta Kalantar and BB Can 5. Like, this is what I don't like, because where's the lip syncing? I guess there's a performance aspect, but like there's no lip syncer performing the song from Abhora. Not saying Abhora did bad. Abhora did really good, but like
she did lip sync. That's the thing. She actually lip synced more than Jade. If we're talking about lip syncing of non-singers, she did lip sync a lot. I specifically zoomed in on her mouth a few times, even when she was in the crowd. So I'm just I would criticize.
I think her task is just a bit easier, in my opinion.
I don't even think it was a bit easier. I think it was significantly easier, because we're talking about, it's Monsters of Rock, okay? There are 4 roles in these bands, and there always have been, of bassist, guitarist, drummer, and lead singer, right? Those are the 4 roles, okay? If you are going to add a 5th person to a band, you better give them something to do, because keyboard, tambourine, I don't care, something, right?
Cowbell.
Give him a freaking triangle for all I care. I don't know, but something to do, because this really came off like a band with their big performing mascot Abhora, and and again, this is not a knock on Abhora, because this is not their fault. This is not. I mean, they chose to be the person without an instrument. Their group did, but like again, if they say 4 of you are playing instruments or singing, and what is the 5th person supposed to do, right? What are they there for? I really do feel like in some ways Abhora got shafted here, and then in other ways I really do feel like Abhora kind of got it easy here. So it's kind of hard to say like my overall feelings on this, other than don't do it again, please.
I just think if you're stuck with an instrument, I think your task is significantly harder than everybody else. That's why we see the lead singer win every time, except for this time. And I think that's why, like, the Boulets even said the phrase, "I don't want to send anybody home who is fighting or like who is going to make good TV." And I thought of Abhora as one of them, and I was just like, I want Abhora. I want to like Abhora for what she's bringing. She's doing good so far, but it's feeling like a lot of like, when favorites in Drag Race get by, it's like they can do well on their own. You don't need to push them forward, because so far it seems like Abhora's been meeting the mark.
I would actually only half agree with both of you here, because I think that if Abhora didn't reinvent herself, how she would literally stood out on stilts more than the other bandmates, she would have flopped harder. And in this scenario, she's kind of fighting when she's left without an instrument, without keyboards, triangle, whatever. She's kind of fighting mostly with Sigourney for attention. She's kind of mostly fighting with the lead singer. And I think it was to Sigourney's detriment to have chosen the same role she had on season 4. But because that was of their choosing, I kind of don't blame Abhora for this, because Abhora did do what needed to be done. I'm not like maybe her biggest fan, but in this episode, I'm kind of not mad that she was on top, because both Sigourney and Blackberri actually suffered from choosing the same roles they had in their respective seasons, especially Blackberri. Blackberri's phenomenally lucky that they decided to choose only one bottom person from each group. And I would argue that she was even worse than Jade, actually, in this challenge, because I specifically rewatched their performance on drums on season 5, Battle of the Bands. And yeah, I mean, Blackberri, we all stand here on this podcast, but literally it was the first challenge where she dropped the ball, like dropped the stick significantly.
I was going to get to that when we got to Blackberri, but I do want to just quickly rebut to your point of Abhora. Sigourney cannot be expected to command attention where a person standing on stilts is standing in the middle of the crowd spinning with their massive arms out. How is Sigourney supposed to be able to do anything there? Sigourney could have been the most captivating lead singer we have ever had on the main stage, which I will say she wasn't. But I think she did better than some other people did in this role, in this particular
I think
challenge.
She was safe, in my opinion.
I think she was safe, but I also have to say that I think them putting someone in Monsters of Rock and not giving them something to perform with is inherently a bad production decision, and it needs to be something they don't do again in the future. Because pulling it back here, this isn't just at Abhora, this is just in general. We need to be careful with how we're constructing these challenges.
I agree, but sorry, go ahead.
I want to say, I'm not blaming Abhora for any of this. They could give Abhora the crown today and pour blood on her, and I'd be like, great for Abhora. I'm so happy for her. I don't blame her for any of it. If it's being given to her, take it. Like, I'm not going to be mad at that. I'm mad at the Boulets in production for making this situation where we have to comment and be like, it is a little weird. It's a little weird.
It is, but if I were Sigourney, I would actually swap roles, like hands down. I would not have herself being compared to her own performance from season 4. I think was just kind of...
Well, let's pull it back, though, right? Let's say Blackberri said she's going to be the drummer again, right? I would assume that Jade is probably going to know what she wants to do, which is not be the center of attention, but just be performing on stage, and hopefully I can squeak by without really knowing what I'm doing in this particular performance. And then Disasterina probably wanted to do the guitar. So at that point, if it's you and Abhora's in these big stilts for their performance, it might have been the only thing she could have done. But I do want to talk about Blackberri, because this was the thing that I was really shocked by. This was the first time I think Blackberri has flopped on an episode of Dragula. I would agree. Because during the challenge, I literally was like, what is Blackberri wearing? Mm-hmm. And then I was watching Blackberri perform, and I was like, what is Blackberri doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's
especially compared to their performance on season 5 on the same instrument. Girl, what is going? She almost won that challenge on season 5. I thought she did. In my memory, I was like, yeah, Blackberri won. And I was like, I don't remember who won it now, but I will say...
because it was Blackberri was on the losing team. Blackberri was on the losing team. Yeah,
and she would have won if her team was better. And I gotta say, Brook should not have won that challenge either. But Blackberri, like, I really, like, in my brain, Blackberri was the best performer in that challenge, and in my brain, Blackberri won. So, like, coming into this and having ostensibly the same role and the same opportunity to do it again and just not, shocked me. Like, gagged me a bit for sure.
Yeah, I think they brought up like the drumstick thing. That was whatever. I think it was just there's an energy lacking, and she was kind of standing above the drums. It was very strange, and this is why I think like they can't really strike the instruments, the drums, or they're instructed not to, because she was kind of air striking it. But like Evah was like looking like she was actually like playing it. I think maybe a couple times she accidentally hit it in the performance. But like I'm like, Blackberri did not give me that believable performance, and I love you, Blackberri. You're amazing. You're stunning. I would have put Blackberri in the bottom if it were up to me.
Touching on the other two, Disasterina was fantastic. I really enjoyed Disasterina. I have enjoyed Disasterina throughout this competition to this point. Love seeing that. Jade, on the other hand... Girl, it is getting hard to defend a little bit.
I'm getting to the point of like, competition-wise, like, what is Jade's goal here? Is she just here to make TV? Which I'm fine if you just want to make TV, but I feel like that's kind of what we're seeing here.
Wasn't she always, though, on all three differences?
I mean, she had some like great looks. I wasn't the biggest fan of that. We'll get to it, but I wasn't the biggest fan of this look either. I'm just kind of wondering, competition-wise, like what's going through Jade's head? Like, what's her goal here? Like, is it really just to be iconic, give some memorable moments before going out at some point? If that is, that's fine. But as far as like the competition, we saw what we saw there. It was there wasn't a lot in her performance.
Looks.
So, Teabag, starting with
Let's do it.
Abhora.
Abhora and Micha. Well, it's a complete tea for me, actually. It's one of the better Abhora looks. It's very crafty, it's very her, but yeah, I'm not usually fan, like it's very hit or miss for me with her aesthetic, but this worked really well for the performance and the challenge and everything, and attention drawing.
I'm going to get this a slight T. I loved when she was constructing it. I liked a lot of what I saw. And then I feel like maybe she layered on a little too much. I think she could have edited it out a little bit. I think also stilts looks often your eyes don't draw to the outfit itself. So you kind of just look at, oh, wow, they're on stilts and they're doing all these tricks and stuff like that. So I think that's another detraction from it. But I still think what I saw of it, little stuffed animals and stuff, I think Abhora was also in a jock strap and all that stuff. Very, very not grunge, but very like metal, very guar. It's a slight T for me.
Bag. And I have a couple of reasons. One, because when we were getting the close-ups on Abhora's face during the floor show, and that this is a nitpick, but I will get more reasonable as I go on, I believe. The prosthetic she had on her head did not look good on closer inspection. It was wrinkled. It looked a little cracked in different places. Maybe that was the aesthetic she was going for, but it didn't look visually appealing to me. Second, the bottom... I don't want to say the bottom half because that's just stilt, but like the stilt portion, I say from the waist down, I think Abhora looks pretty good, honestly. And I like the shoulder piece here. But the midsection of this just isn't doing anything for me. It's not bad. It's just fine. But then importantly, if this was a regular Monsters of Rock challenge, I would like this at least a little bit, and I would probably give it T. I'm not getting cyber from this. And I like, what is the cyber aspect? Is it the stilt? Is that where we're supposed to be getting cyber from? Because outside of that, I'm not really getting anything personally. So
I think that's a fair critique.
So personally, I'm gonna bag this, but I will acknowledge that I think it is at least a good look. I just don't know if it fully meets the criteria of the assignment we're looking at. Sigourney.
I keep it short and not sweet. This is her second worst look of all time. She was on the competition. I get what she said during the critiques that she wanted to be comfy and comfortable, but this is a bag. Sorry.
Yeah, going off of your note for Abhora, I'm applying it to Sig here. This did not say cyber to me. I don't think it fit the prompt. I think she could have been flashier, more neon. I think there were missed opportunities. This is a bag for me.
Love the hair. I think the hair is really great. Love the breastplate. And then it just kind of dies. I think this is a really good look in terms of like, if I saw this at a club, I would think this was sickening. But when it's Monsters of Rock, cyber, again, where's the cyber? I'm not really getting that. I love you down, Sigourney. And I never thought these words would leave my lips. Bag. And it hurts. That hurts my soul. But bag.
Oh my God,
Blackberri.
We just bagged Mother.
We bagged Mother. Will they ever forgive us? I don't know.
Please forgive your children.
Please.
Are we about to bag Blackberri as well? I don't know. I'm still giving this a T, but yeah, definitely it's kind of a step down from both Blackberri performance looks on season 5. And I still, just like the guest judge, I was very confused by the left hand and the left arm overall, because not only it was a bad decision for the performance, I get where she was going with it, but it didn't help her during the challenge, and it looks bulky, clunky, and not that like upping up the tech aspect of the runway aspect. So it's still T, but yeah, it's a bit of disappointment with some salty tears for Blackberri this week.
This is a slight bag for me, and it really does come down to that handpiece is so jarringly out of. If she took it away, it would have been slight T, honestly. When you look at the rest of the look, I think it's married enough together, but it's still a bit jumbled to me in a way that I don't think really works the best. Yeah, this is a slight bag for me.
So I'm going to pull out a very, very, very deep cut of a reference here, and if anybody gets it, I will mad respect you for it. That arm piece kind of reminds me of the robots on Robot Combat League that used to air on Sci-Fi back in the day. These like big, massive robots fighting each other, like these big ass like plastic pieces, and they just like shove them on. And I look at the rest of this look, and the color palette, I'm going to discount the left arm. The color palette of the rest of this look is so well defined and so well tailored. I kind of just can't stop looking at that robot arm. It bothers me so much. And honestly, besides that, the rest of this look I actually really like. One of my big things I really liked were the little details of the Blackberri billboards in her hair. I thought that was really cool. But God, that arm is just egregious, and I can't stop looking at it. I have to bag it. I'm sorry.
I don't know that reference, but I was thinking it was like gay Frankie from One Piece. Like if you watch One Piece, it's like his arms, but like if he was gay. So
Totally disjointed from the rest, yeah. Sorry, mother. Disasterina, on the other hand, gets a total T from me. I mean, David Bowie goes Sonic the Hedgehog is phenomenal. She's probably the best look of the entire group. Love her. This is hot tea.
Mike, I'm going to DM you a picture of these robots real quick so you can see what they look like.
okay.
It's crazy. It's Mike's turn though. Sorry.
Mike, yeah, go
No
ahead.
worries. I will say Disasterina was the best look of the entire group for me. This is a hot tea for me. Great look on Disasterina. I'm so excited to see what else she brings.
Yeah, this is great. Disasterina has been doing really well throughout these weeks, and I gotta say, keep them coming. Keep these good looks coming. I'm loving this tea.
Okay, I'm looking at the picture. Was this CGI or was this like
No, these were
robot?
actual,
Please.
real, constructed robots.
Okay.
They had people. One person drove it, and the other person had like a motion capture suit that like directed the punch. It was like real steel. It was like real steel. But,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And it was hosted by Chris Jericho. The show was one season. It was fine. But Jade.
The Jade of it all. I love the purple violet boots. The end. I think in her case the mask worked against her very much so. I really don't get how the wig, especially during the performance, looked like koala ears. And if you think about koalas, you can't unsee it afterwards. It was so jarringly, everything was disjointed. Like Jade's mind was on one planet. Her mask was on the other, and the rest of the look was just assembled from a few Frankenhooker leftovers from that challenge on season 6. Love the boots though, but it's a bag. It's a big body bag.
Yeah, this was a mishmash mess for me. I like this mask, but not for this challenge. It's just the taste level of all these disparate parts. It's a bag for me for Jade. I'm sorry.
I did not expect to start the season out by bagging Jade Julie twice. I really didn't. I did not come into the season wanting to bag Jade twice because I like Jade. Well, I enjoyed. I find Jade intriguing, and this is just not very great. I love the boot. I think the boot is really cute. I think honestly, I really like everything other than the neck up. I think the rest of this look is totally serviceable. If she would have done more from the neck up to like accentuate the rest of the outfit, if she had a massive like purple headpiece, this would have been awesome instead of this like choice of a wig with this mask that really doesn't go with anything she's got on. Sure, bag. Finally, our final group, starting with Jaharia, and then moving over, we have Jaharia, Dollya, Loris, and Evah Distraction.
So,
Plated steel.
yeah, this script.
They said it in that deep gravelly, like, plated steel.
Yeah,
You should say it for us. You have the lowest voice.
Plated steel. Yeah, and I also used to growl in one of my bands before, so now I also have a slightly sore throat, so it goes all together very well. I mean, yeah, this was the group. Actually, if we count Loris out, that would be my favorite group of them all. But Loris was there, so we have to judge individually. Sorry.
No.
I kind of agree with you, Micha.
I
think as a group, this was my favorite of the three. So
Loris was not the worst person in this group for me, personally.
Based
off of what we saw in this performance, Loris was not the worst person in this group. The person I felt myself connected to at least was Dollya, and that's just me. I saw the watermelon cantalouping. I saw that. I caught that multiple times. You're the lead singer. You didn't even get assigned as the lead singer. You chose to be the lead singer when I don't think anybody other than Evah was gonna be kind of not wanting that role out of this group, and you don't know the words. Now,
but
granted,
Jaharia was the lead singer for her.
Oh, pretty much, yeah. Jaharia, as she wasn't even the main guitar, she was the bass. Okay, as bass guitar, Jaharia is stealing the damn show. Jaharia is captivating, keeping the energy up, keeping the vibe going the entire performance in a way that we really haven't seen anybody else but Blackberri do in one of these instrumental performances. Speaking of the drums, though, Evah also did a really good job on the drums. And I think had Evah been in another group, namely group number 2, I think Evah could have been high in this challenge as well, because she did such a good job on the drums.
I know they picked one from each group, but I feel so bad for Evah because I think Jaharia did the best in the challenge, but I think Evah did the second best of everybody in this challenge because they were so captivating on the drums for me. They had so much energy. I think those two really made the group for me. I still think Loris was the least energy for me, but Dollya was right there. I do get what you're saying there. But I think Evah and Jaharia standouts for me. I really hate that they did this dumb crap about like one top and one bottom from each group because I think it robbed Evah of a top placement that she deserves this episode.
But at least they acknowledged her in their own critiques and even like their chit chat before and like when everybody was joining in saying, yeah, like Evah had all the industrial metal references. But yeah, with Dollya, I totally agree. The fact that she really switched off. When she remembered some of her words, she was trying to be present. But when there was like instrumental break or whatnot, the camera just went off of her and she was doing God knows what probably saved her from the bottom was actually that she, Loris, and Jaharia performed this three-way split at the very same time. We've seen 2 queens do this simultaneously, but 3 queens. Yeah, even we got a confessional from Sigourney saying this was so cool. I've seen that show. It was damn cool. Yeah, I mean the moment was like perfect.
Yeah, the simultaneous drop split of it all. When Sigourney is being very kind and complimentary to Evah's group, I think that's when you know, like, okay, yeah, this was a service gag.
Well, I think she's okay when Evah's not the one doing it. She's like, I can give a compliment. It's not giving Evah a compliment.
Yeah. I will say this. I had Evah third in this challenge, but I will acknowledge that Evah was a very strong performer in this, and under normal circumstances, she would have been high. So, keep an eye out on Miss Destruction, y'all. This is going to be a very fun season for Evah, I have a feeling. Misha's draft team is celebrating. And the rest of us are crying in the club. So Now, is it time to teabag?
Sure. Starting with Jaharia, I mean, yeah, especially with the guitar prop and how she handled it well at the very end. I mean, it's really hard to like separate the performance from the look itself, but even the look itself is not bad at all. I see the Kiss reference. I'm not mad at it. Yeah, it's not exactly the same metal genre, but I mean, come on, it's still very good. And the way she basically made the guitar explode with her actions at the very end was so good. The guitar beforehand looked great because it genuinely felt as a part of an outfit, which is so important because it rhymed so well with her face painting and with the rest of her. Love her wig. The wig is probably the most sci-fi part of her outfit, but all this silvery, shiny, metallic stuff looks so damn good on her body, so it's still gonna be pretty warm tea for me.
This look is tea for me. I don't mind that it's not like necessarily cyber enough. I think it has that sort of metallic aesthetic to it that I think gets across the finish line for me. Great look. Love a Kiss reference. I always think it's a great aesthetic to go for in these Monsters of Rock challenges because it's always a good look on anybody. Tea.
So she's Judy Jetson Hookup. No, she ate this up. Jaharia, absolutely tea. Yeah, when in doubt for Monsters of Rock, just do Kiss makeup. It will work, and it will at least elevate your look a little bit more than you would have had before. So, yeah, great look. Dollya.
With Dollya, her look is actually the favorite part of her performance and her presence in this entire challenge overall for me. I would give the look a T. I think it fits the brief. I think it kind of stands out as the vocalist because when Evah stood out, of course, she like would eaten her off, but Evah was kind of sitting on the drums. So yeah, like this look for the category, I would say it's a T. And it's the best part, the best of Dollya for me this episode.
Yeah, this look is tea. I do agree with the judges. I don't know why she insisted on this headpiece when that wig was really, really nice that she was wearing during the performance. But I mean, the headpiece looks good here as well. And the wig looked good. So it was all tea for me, everything that Dollya wore.
Bag entirely. The only thing I liked about this outfit when it was in the performance was the wig. And I thought the wig actually made the outfit look pretty good, all things considered. I thought it added a nice amount of dimension. It gave us something to look at that wasn't just this static flat color. Granted, I'm aware she's got a little bit of some lights on there. I don't care. I don't think they add enough to really distract from anything for me and to really elevate anything for me. And then she gets rid of the wig. Bag. I'm sorry. Like, I can acknowledge that maybe I'm wrong, but for me, this is just nothing. It's fine. The construction is there, but I just expect more out of the Dragula people because I know most of them come into this competition knowing how to sew and knowing how to make looks like this because they don't have the ability to go down to Forever 21 and buy a couple of things and go perform at a bar. You know what I mean? So I do judge them a little bit harsher, and I wish there was a little bit something more that was a little bit... It's not the cyber element that's lacking, it's the rock part that's lacking for me in this particular look. Because if you could tell me this is like a cyber knight, I would buy it. And I think that would make perfect sense to me. The wig added to the rock illusion of it. And with the wig gone, it doesn't scream Monster of Rock to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, valid actually. But it's kind of hard. Should we judge her on this look as she's standing here, or with her wig instead of the headpiece? I mean, it's kind of 50-50 here.
I mean, she made the calculated choice to walk on this stage in this headpiece tonight. That's just the way I look at it. If the picture on screen was her in that wig, I would judge based on with the wig. But without the wig, I can't judge it. So, Yeah.
She later stated during the
Loris.
confessional that it wasn't a calculated choice, that she completely got airheaded. But, well, whatever.
We'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
Because the
Loris.
delusion. Beside the point, Loris.
Yeah. I'm kind of on a fence with it. I get the Blackberri ginormous pants. You can put a Blackberry in according to Blackberry. But I mean, it's kind of a girl in a tank feeling, and I think it's good for both like the desert and post-apocalyptic style. I don't necessarily get sci-fi from this at all, I must say. But the kiss makeup looks good on her, and the head up, the neck up is great. The head up also. The neck up looks good. Bag. So still it's a bag overall.
Yeah, this is a bag for me. And the main point is I feel like the head and the hair is a different look than the rest of the body. And I am not that crazy about like the pants for one. I just feel like they're just kind of like pants you can buy. I do agree with it was a really shady judge line from Ryan what's his face to be like, oh, this is like my Hot Topic days, but it really kind of was. I feel like you can elevate it in a little bit. Maybe I just can't see it because again, we don't have good pictures of these outfits, so maybe there was something Loris did to elevate it, but from what I can see, I don't see that. And because it's like two looks and one of the looks I'm not even that crazy about, it's a bag for me.
Yeah, this is a tough call for me because in the same way that I feel about Dollya, I kind of feel that way about Loris, where most of this look doesn't really scream rock to me. But because of all the metal, you could definitely argue that it's cyber, right? When we move up to the neck up, though, with the wig, with the face, it gives me Monster of Rock. And with the cyber element already in play, I at least can see the concept and what we're going for here, which is more than I can say for some other people we have on this floor show. However, those pants are atrocious. Burn them with fire. And I just wish it was like a latex thing, because I know Loris can do quick latex anything whenever she wants to. Like, again, I would not say this about anyone else ever on any drag competition show. Loris could make a look out of latex in under an hour if she absolutely had to. And like a good look in latex in under an hour. But I will say, I don't really think it would have went with this, period. I think she could have done like a latex type fabric or something that was latex adjacent to make some better fitting pants. I'm trying to decide if the pants are enough to bag this or not. I'm going to give this the most tepid, like you put the tea in the fridge level of tea. Like it is barely hanging on, but I'm going to give it tea because I think the wig itself just adds just a little bit of extra punch to it in a way that isn't really present anywhere else. Evah.
Oof. Evah really mothered with this look. I know it's much more monster rock than cyber element of it all, but like for the genre, for the industrialness of metal of it all, it's so good. And for that crotch with the spiky crotch, which was brought up again by judges. I love this. She really mothered it to the hottest of tea.
This was my favorite look of this group. This was hot tea for me. This looks like I literally Googled guar for Jonathan and I showed it to him and I was like, this is guar. This is the aesthetic that Evah's going for. Yeah, loved everything about this look. Evah had a great night tonight. Hot tea.
Yeah, this is great. This is incredible. This is fantastic. I think Evah got robbed of the top placement in this episode. Yeah, this is great. Tea, obviously. Incredible gowns, beautiful gowns, gorgeous gowns. Moving on.
Especially when part of the gown is your hairy body. I mean, we're not mad at it at all.
Evah's a good-looking person.
She is.
So we get told our tops for the week are Abhora, Jaharia, and JK. They pick one top from each group and one bottom from each group. No.
It was a weird decision, yeah.
I just feel like Evah kind of got robbed. I know we've said that a few times,
too.
but like considering, again, it would have been nice to see Evah get the shout here for doing pretty much better than everybody other than two people, guaranteeably, and arguably better than everyone but one person in this challenge. I was kind of stunned they didn't just give her a top placement here, even if it was just like a special shout out to Evah Destruction, like on the floor show. I wish they would have given that to her instead of just saying it in the judging, in like the private judging. But in this moment, I gotta be honest, I was a little worried that they were just gonna give this win to Abhora because their critiques to Abhora were very positive.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, they gave the win to Jaharia!
Agreed. Agreed.
So good. So
Our draft
deserved,
teams are eating Micha. So with this, Jaharia has officially moved technically into first place because she was high in the first episode as well. So she's the main character. Deal with it.
I ain't mad at it.
And it's such a great, payback for season 6, where she could have and probably should have won the Rusical Rats challenge of it all.
She did in my dreams.
Same for me, totally, yeah. So that's so good.
Yeah. So we then get a bottom 3 of Priscilla, Jade, and Loris. 1 out of 3? Sure.
Well, Jade definitely, I would say.
Jade for sure. Go ahead. What was your bottom 3?
If it were me, my bottoms would have been Jade, Blackberri, and Dollya. Would have been my bottom 3. Just based off of what I saw in the challenge. I think out of everyone here, I know Loris did not entirely play the guitar during the performance. There were times where she did, and they didn't show it during the judging, and that irritates me. But I will at least say she knew the words, which is more than I can say for Dollya. Even if she wasn't singing, she at least was playing to the song. And wasn't actively bad in the challenge when it comes to the energy like Blackberri was. So I really thought that Loris and Priscilla shouldn't have been at the bottom here personally.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
I would have had Loris, I would have had Blackberri, and I would have had Jade. That was my bottom 3. But Dahlia's right there for me.
Yeah. Same for me. It's like a coin away from Loris versus Dollya, who of the two could have been there. But yeah, I see the argument for Dollya as well. For Loris, it was just like, I don't know, this pants. But yeah, I absolutely agree that Priscilla had no business being in the bottom 3, and Blackberri should have been there, unfortunately. However much we love her.
The Boulets are coming for all of the staple, goth items. They're going for the baggy pants. They're going for the club kid boots. What else are they gonna snipe
Watch
out?
Watch out, guys with the big thick bracelets on your wrist. You're next. So we then go back to the Cauldron. Uncomfortable. That is how I will describe this Cauldron. Because large swaths of this Cauldron are just Jade and Priscilla going after Loris. And it was kind of hard to watch, I'm going to be honest. As someone who enjoys both Jade and Priscilla, at least historically, and I get where they're coming from. Their best friend in the competition is in the bottom with them, and in order for both of them to stay, Loris has to go. I don't think Loris deserved this, especially from what we've been able to see. Loris has just been really chill and nice and friendly throughout the 2 episodes we've seen so far. And having some of the things be said here was not great. Was not great at all.
I'm specific. I understand where Priscilla's coming from. Priscilla's in the bottom. And honestly, they're really doing a tryouts to the people filming there, like who has the fire to stay. So Priscilla is kind of bringing up, hey, Loris kind of hinted that maybe they don't want to be here. Maybe that, they're fine with going home, which wasn't the case. They had to vote for somebody, and Loris didn't want to vote for anybody. And that's what she meant by that. But what I'm disappointed in is Jade jumping on the bandwagon here and really kind of stirring the pot and keeping on going, to the point where I think it kind of triggered Sigourney, and she kind of jumped in to defend Loris because she's like, I know what I'm seeing right here. And you see JK doing the same thing because JK's like, I've been in this place before. But then we had a hilarious moment where he's starting to get in, and then Cynthia stops him, and he's like, no. Let them fight. Let them fight.
I will say this made me appreciate this relationship more. Because I will say, as much as I wish that JK would have been able to get up and say something and stand up and do something about it, right? One, Loris can hold her own in a fight. Don't need to worry about that. Two, Sigourney was already getting involved when needed. But three, Cynthia kind of being that, I don't want to say the devil or the angel on JK's shoulder, kind of just a little voice in the back of your head just be like, not right now, bitch. Don't do it.
Just let the grenades fly and just duck and let them fly.
Oh, freaking hell. I forgot. What was the word? What was the word that JK said? And Cynthia was, I don't know this word. I don't know what it means. What was it?
I don't remember.
She's like, this isn't decorum. And she's like, what is a decorum? And I was like, Cynthia, stop. You can't be this iconic in rapid succession.
Yeah. But we get a really impassioned moment from Sigourney here where Loris responds with one of my favorite lines we ever get on any show, which is, are you done? Which
to Priscilla.
And then, what do you mean, are you done? And Sigourney's like, you are literally ganging up on her and attacking her for nothing. And in that moment, I was like, okay, we're getting done. The Cauldron is winding down. We're getting to a nice spot before we go back on the stage.
No.
And then Zavaleta pipes up. And in this moment, I was afraid. Because historically, when Zavaleta gets involved in drama on Dragula, things just get hotter. And, even when we're having the dramas going down, I'm like, oh God, Loris, watch out. And a little bit of me is like, oh, Priscilla, oh, Jade, watch out. I didn't know who was going to get their head chopped off here. Zava's got a very cutting tongue when she's arguing sometimes. And I was afraid for everyone involved. But instead, very calm, very respectful Zavaleta comes up and says, I just want to say that for people that are talking about me and others behind my back to production, I have ears and I know what was said.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, I'm like, oh dear God, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why is
These
this?
walls are thin. I hear what you're saying. And I was like, oh, name them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Dollya.
I love that Dollya was like, I'm not fighting. I'm not involved in this. And she was taking a hit of her vape. And then Zava's like, we're bringing you into this.
We're dragging you down. Yeah.
I have to say, well, you can set the stage on this one.
So a couple of things we want to be clear on. One, in the regard of the same thing that we brought up earlier when it came to Jade, Priscilla, and Dollya. When it comes to illicit substances that are being used behind stage, we do not know what went on. We want to make that abundantly clear because we are only going to be discussing the edited product that was placed in front of our face. Whatever actually happened, none of our business. We do not know, and we can only talk about the edited show that was put in front of our face. Based on this edit, Zavaleta has a prescription for a drug that is not prescribed around the world. We'll just say that. We're not going to be naming names because we'd like to keep this video monetized. But
they edited in horse whinnies whenever it was mentioned, so which was a shady production choice. That'll narrow it down for y'all.
Yeah, that should narrow it down. And also, just watch the episode. It's very abundantly clear what it is. However, there was allegedly a conversation between Zavaleta and Dollya where Zavaleta, after using this prescribed drug, said, I'm on, insert prescribed drug's name here, haha, and Dollya became concerned. Now, whether this was, I think this is something that production needs to look at in case something more serious is happening, or, oh, maybe this is an opportunity to get someone who could be a competitive threat out of the competition, or maybe at least thrown off their game. We don't know, and I'm assuming we're going to find out as the competition continues. What I will say, though, the responses from the people in the room were very telling to me. Specifically Sigourney, because as we have discussed before, Mother does not suffer fools. And she was pretty clear of like saying that Dollya was essentially tattling to production. And to me, I would take that as, oh, this isn't that serious, and this is legitimately fine. But then JK comes in and says, girl prescriptions don't come in a plastic bag. And I'm like, oh, like awkward,
alleged.
colorful. This is all
we don't
alleged.
know the truth of any of the matter.
All I'm saying is this. What we can say is that we do know, and this is because, again, if you don't want to hear a spoiler, skip about 30 seconds ahead in the episode, just letting you know, 3, 2, 1, that the Boulets have confirmed, accidentally or not, that at some point during the season, someone does get disqualified. And where we are at right now, I couldn't tell you who the hell it's going to be. And I feel like this is setting the stage for either Dollya to get disqualified because she keeps on trying to get production to throw people out of the competition for stupid bullshit reasons that aren't correct, or something is going on behind the scenes and somebody may actually be using something that they aren't supposed to be using and they send them to go get help. I'm not saying I want either of those things, but at this point, I'm just worried that this has become a continued point on this season.
Yeah, if I'm reading the tea leaves, it does seem that Dollya is trying to either throw a wrench in other people's plans, because she said the same kind of thing about Jade and about Priscilla in episode 1, where they were drinking and doing other things, and she was hinting towards illicit activity there as well. So this feels like a pattern of behavior, because now she's saying, oh, Zavaleta's doing this too, but Zavaleta says, I have a prescription for what you're saying. And to Dollya's credit, she apologizes in that moment. She's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But it did come off of like, you know what? Zava was being open about her own mental illness struggles, and it's in the trials that she has to go through. And she felt like in that moment, Dollya was like belittling that when she was asking everybody to be understanding of her own situation. So I can understand the anger towards Dollya in that situation. If I'm reading the tea leaves, it sounds like they are giving Dollya a very negative edit. I cannot imagine. I don't know anything. I'm not spoiled, nothing like that. I can't imagine she gets a negative edit like this and she's not the one that like the Boulets just are kind of like, okay, just stop. You are turning this competition to something that it should not be. But we don't know. We'll probably find out in the next few episodes.
That's why I said before that it looks like kind of Dollya versus the world by the end of this episode 2. Yeah, that's what the editor is telling us. And then we actually get to another bit of the Zava drama because Zava yanks Cynthia into it.
And that Dollya was allegedly talking about Cynthia behind her back. And I'm like, can we just let this drama end for the episode, please? Like, it's just more and more and more and more and more. And I'm like, girl, I did not go to an all-you-can-eat drama buffet, okay? Now, granted, this portion of the drama involving Cynthia was living for that.
Funny.
That was fun.
It was
that
funny.
Was fun.
Anything involving that is like, iconic. But I will say, we have before talked about Zava bringing up information and it being a negative, and on previous seasons on the edited product showing it as like stirring the pot. I kind of appreciate calling out behavior like this because Zava is bringing stuff that is changing the competition. That if Dollya is doing this stuff in bad faith, it's changing the nature of the competition into a really negative and mean-spirited direction. And I think it does need to be called out if that's what's going on. So I appreciate Zavaleta in this moment.
I mean, and even in the trailer too, we've seen Sigourney have that little clip of like she's trying to get people disqualified. Again, don't fully know who she's talking about now, but at this point, the confessional she gave during this section felt very much like it could have fit that straight into that little soundbite. So again, we do not know everything that is going on behind the scenes. All I can say is this. I appreciate the fact that the conversation was had. And I do not think it will be over after this episode, but maybe, just maybe, hopefully, I pray to God, maybe it will be. I doubt it, but maybe.
I think we have more horse whinnies in our in our future. Buckle up, y'all. It's a bumpy ride.
Shout out to the first winner of Drag Race Down Under.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. I will say, okay, for anybody watching, and you don't want any spoilers, again, go forward like 20 seconds. The Boulets also said there is somebody on this cast they will never ask back. So that's important to note.
Mm-hmm.
It might be the same person who's been DQ'd. So
we shall
watch
see.
this space.
So we finally go back to the floor. We're back out on the stage. Priscilla is spared from having to go up to the ghostly gallows, and Jade and Loris are officially up for extermination here. As they're walking up the stage to the gallows, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, even if Loris was better in the first episode, and by a lot, and I really thought maybe Jade would go here, and it wouldn't have shocked me in this moment of thinking Jade hasn't shown up. We've seen people get involved in the drama really early and still go out super early. Notably, I'm thinking of Scylla here, of like, I'm the focus of the drama for the first 2 episodes, and I still go home second. Love you, Scylla. I'm a huge fan. So in this moment, it's like, well, Loris has done better throughout the competition based off of both weeks. If you look at it holistically, Loris did better the first week too. Jade would have been up for extermination had it been a normal judging in the first week as well. I really thought that Jade was going to go here. What did you two think going into this?
I think back to what the Boulet said. It's like, where's the quote? Where's that quote? I don't want to send anybody home who is fighting. This is exactly what Drek Morta said.
Yes,
and I was like,
and she followed it. She followed it with a great soundbite. Throw some water on somebody. Throw the chicken.
Yeah. Even though they sent them home in that episode after the chicken throw.
Yeah, exactly.
I had no faith. I feel like they have a pattern of behavior of, like, especially this early, wanting to keep the drama going. So
maybe yes.
Micha, where were you?
I was still thinking. I was literally on the fence because I see where you're coming from, Brook, and yeah, historically we have an even more glaring precedent with Astrid actually on season 4, because she won the first challenge and she was the drama of both episodes, and she went home on the second one. So I thought that there is still a huge chance, like 48%, that Jade could have gone home, but yeah. I'm also kind of not surprised because of that quote specifically, and because Boulet stated it like so pointedly that Loris was going, which is unfortunate.
Well, speaking of,
I'm going to use the trapdoor.
Loris is plunged below and exterminated.
Oh, is she? Because now we get to...
So We get a little scene at the end. I thought it was just them actually acknowledging that Frankie was dead, which is more than I can say for anyone else. Also, how did Frankie die in this canon? What killed Frankie? I am very curious myself. But Frankie and Loris's bodies are pulled out of these drawers in this morgue. And we get told that we're not quite done with you yet. Get up. So we'll see if they are truly and fully dead next week. We'll see what happens. I am curious myself, although I don't think they're going to bring them both back into the competition, because if they do, what were these first 2 episodes for? Why were they here?
There's well, I think they're going to bring somebody back. There's precedent for that. I also think they don't like that the first 2 gone were the season 1 monsters.
Yes.
I think they want to give another shot to at least one of them. And if I were to guess, I think it's Loris. I think if they were going to bring one of them back, it's going to be Loris. But there might be a competition to get back. We'll see.
Sure.
I could really see it being one of those things of like they're both the team captains of the next challenge, and whoever's team wins the next challenge comes back to life, and the losing person, they're just out. I think that would work. That would be something that could at least make it work for me. And then they can send somebody else home, so that way it's not just a pointless return anyway.
Exactly.
Um,
They can do it in double elimination. We had precedents like this, so.
Speaking of precedents, it's time for our draft update. Yay! Draft update. So we didn't have one last week because we didn't know who went home. So we couldn't really give you a draft update from nothing. But now we do know who was eliminated in the first episode and the second. So we can give you a concrete draft update as to where everyone is at in points. So currently in 4th place is Mike with 16.
I knew it.
It's
I bagged all of my draft people, so I have integrity, y'all.
Mike, you are hanging on with a Blackberri and a dream right now.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Sigourney isn't badly either. You're just not in that. You haven't. None of your people have been high yet. So
I actually dodged a bullet because I remember in the draft I was between Dollya and Jade, and I picked Dollya, and I'm like, well, I got marginally up on there.
But
all right. Currently in 3rd is Logan with 21 points. Micha, it's kind of like drafting Jaharia was a good choice. Currently in 1st place by a singular point is Micha with 28 points. I am in 2nd with 27 points. So we are very close indeed. Had Loris not went home this episode, maybe things would be different. But of course she did. So here we are. So what's going to happen next week? I don't know. You tell me. Let us know in the comments down below. Do you think Loris should have been the person that got exterminated at the end of this episode? Who do you think should have been in the bottom? Why was it Blackberri? Because we're all pretty much in agreement here. And
I'm actually happy it wasn't for my draft team.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled it wasn't because I love Blackberri. I'm just, shoot the shit. And also, the most important question overall, is the pinky promise sacred or not? Let me know down below. Because those of you who say it's not, I know not to trust your opinions moving forward. Beside the point. Follow us on all of our channels. Our social media links are down below and have been scrolling on the ticker this entire time. I forgot to get rid of Logan's tag. Why is this the wrong banner? I just now realized that was the wrong banner the entire time. There you go. Now they've been scrolling. Let us know in the comments down below what you're looking forward to as we progress through this competition. Don't forget to buy our merch, including but not limited to cup mug at laundrycreations.etsy.com. That link is in the description down below. And again, scrolling in our ticker. And of course, we'll be back here next week to talk about more of Dragula Titans. So stay tuned, everybody. And of course, it's now time to stop watching this video and go watch another one, everybody. Cheers. Bye.